In this exercise we'll have a look at the interface of Envisioneer. Notice at the top of the screen you have Envisioneer, Project 1 and Model. In short, this is basically showing you the program that you have opened. In your case it might be Envisioneer Construction Suite or Envisioneer Professional or Envisioneer Essentials. The Project 1 is the name of the job, so when you open up a new job or you start a new job, you should then go File, Save or Save As and change the name and save it into the folder where you save your projects. This new name will then come up the top and replace Project 1. Be careful that you don't save Project 1 and then the next time you start up you save Project 1 and you might overwrite it. In some cases that does happen. You will lose your work if you do that. The model is the current view. Down the bottom you can see I've got a tab called Model. In yours it might be called Standard, and beside that you might have one other tab and it might be Sheet 1. In this particular drawing, this is a template that I've set up and I've called my model area Model rather than Standard. This is where you come and you build your model out of your walls and doors and windows and roofs, etc. The sheets or the other tabs beside it, where I've got perspective and site plan and ground floor plan, etc., these are all worksheet views. Once you switch to those, you're basically in 2D mode. You notice you can draw lines and polylines and arcs and circles and so on, and you insert your 2D views from your model, such as your floor plan, elevations and sections and so on. Coming back over to the model, you have directly underneath the headings at the top you have your menus. So if you click on File and Edit and View and Insert, you can see you can drive the program by selecting those toolbar drop downs and then the appropriate command from the drop down. Below this you have tabs which is called Building, Interiors, Landscape, Terrain, Analyze and Help. These tabs basically replace, or you can use instead of, the menus at the top. It is much quicker. On the Building tab, actually we can build our exterior components and so on of our model, such as your walls, your doors, your windows, floors, ceilings, roofs, etc. If you come to the Interior tab, you can then put in your internal stuff such as your cabinets and appliances and lighting and furniture and so on. Under the Landscape you have all the functions to putting in plants and fills such as bark and dirt and all those sorts of things that you might put in landscaping into gardens, garden edging, fencing, decks and so on, so you can build all your landscaping. Under the Terrain, this is where you can actually change the terrain. Now the terrain is the square thing on the screen now that is actually coloured green. And with that, at the moment it's just flat, but we can then go and put hills and valleys and berms and trenches and plateaus and slopes, driveways, pads, retaining walls and your site boundary. Once you've finished your model and your retaining and your terrain work, you can then go to your Analyze tab, and this is where you can take your quantities off or go and do the green building energy efficiency stuff. Doors and window schedules and all that sort of stuff can be done from the Analyze tab. Across at the Help, basically we have help files. You've got your terms. This tutor is something that is very handy in this new version of version 5. If you don't want the tutor, you can turn it off and just easily come here and turn it back on again. It'll help you go through whatever you're working with. Down towards the bottom where it says ground floor, if I drop this list out, I've got ground floor, slab, first floor, second floor, etc. These are called building locations, and the current one that is in this window, when you go and draw walls and doors and windows, it will actually put it onto the appropriate location that's set. So if you want to go and draw walls for your first floor, then you drop the list down, select the first floor and go and do your walls. Across the bottom we have the 2D plan view, which is the current view that it's in at the moment. We have a 2D designer view. You can go and put 3D cameras in and look at your model in any way you wish. Once you've got your camera in, you can then come across to very right hand side where you've got your walk around and your fly around and your look around, you can see that those tools are greyed out at the moment because you have to be in a 3D view to do it. Coming further across, you've got your elevations and sections, which allows you to set up predefined elevations or non-orthogonal elevations, however you wish to do it. Coming back to our building locations, to set up a building location, you can click on the little house beside the name. This will bring up your building location dialog box. In this dialog box, you can then set up as many floors as you like, up to about 1,000 or so. It does say that you can only do 1,000, but sometimes you might get 1,001, 1,002, depending on how they're going with the programming. Basically, you set up a number. In your case, you might just have number 1, 2, 3, etc. I set mine up in groups of 100, 200 and 300, etc. So 100 relates to the ground floor, 200 relates to the first floor, and 300 relates to the second floor. It's just a procedure that I've set up. You can follow that, or you can just go with 1, 2, 3, 4. The name is just what you want to put in there, so you can change that name to anything you like. You'll notice when I click into the floor level location field, this down here will change where it's got A. So at the moment A is black down there. If I click into it, it turns green. So it's basically telling you what you're trying to enter here. So my floor level at the moment I've got set at 300, and I'm assuming that my terrain or my ground is set to 0. So I'm working from 0 on my ground up to my ground floor at 300. I then have a head height for 2125, so that's going to put my heads and the top of my windows and my openings in. I've got a ceiling height of 2430, and I've got a wall height of 2440, so I've got a 10 mil less for my ceiling, so it knows exactly where to put the ceiling. If you put these in correctly, then once you do elevations and sections, everything will be precise on how you want to do it. I then allow a 300 gap between the top of my wall and then the beginning of my second floor, so that's where I'm getting my 3040 from, and then again set up my head, ceiling and wall heights. You can add and delete locations as you wish. The one you have the tick on, so if I click back on the ground floor and hit OK, that's the one that will be current when we start building our model. On the left side, on the very right side, we have our catalogue. Now the catalogue that comes with the program is a metric conversion of what they sell the program with. It is a sample catalogue, and you can add and delete and edit anything that's in the program to be however you want it to be. If you want a more Australianised program, as far as the catalogue is concerned, by all means contact me and I'll be able to help you out with the Australian catalogue of which I compile. That is basically it as far as the interface is concerned. We will sort of move on to our next lesson, and I hope that was informative to you. Thank you.